Detroit. You're waking up with Woodward and Maine, your source for all the insider information on the defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions. With insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit. It's now time for Woodward and Maine.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Woodward and Maine show. I'm Terry Foster, along with the lefty over here, Matthew Alexander Broder.
Nah, that's not my real name.
Is it?
No.
No, I just made it up.
Fair.
Today is a big day in Detroit, not just for the Lions. We're going to talk mostly about the Lions, but the Tigers have a big game also. And now, Matthew's probably going to think I don't like him. But
I already don't think you like me.
I'm going to force you to lie to your audience this morning, right off the bat.
I'm just trying to get to know our audience. I'm the rookie. I'm the new guy here, Terry.
All right. That's why I'm making fun of you today.
Okay.
Now, I know that you like to put on the grease paint. And today, the Tigers have a big game. The Lions have a big game against Tampa. Now, what are you going to have your face painted as? A lion or a tiger today when you go downtown?
I'm going straight down the middle. I'm going lion on one side, tiger on the other. It's slappy day.
So you're going to be a total slap?
Total slap.
Okay.
Total slap. I think I'm going to be down at the Tigers game. I'm trying to get tickets to the Lions game so I can make it a full afternoon. But I'm going to be down there, and it's going to be electric.
You know what? My goal was to force him to lie, and I failed because I thought he said, oh no, I don't put paint on my face. Who are you kidding me? I'm a professional. But you didn't do that.
I didn't. If I am being honest, I'm not putting face paint on. But if I were to, you got to split it. Today's one of those days we talk about. Was it April on the D when there could have been a Red Wings playoff game, a Tigers game?
Do me a favor.
April.
Never mention April in the D to me again.
Well, no. Now it's.
I hated the song. I hated the concept.
How do you hate April in the D?
April in the D.
April in the D.
We're on pace. We have a chance to get October baseball. Like, we're having meaningful baseball played here in September. We have an actual real Tigers game that means something, and a Lions game. In fact, a rematch of last year's playoff game against the Bucs. This is going to be an incredible day for the city.
Well, it can be an incredible day, but it could also be a terrible day. The potential is there. If the Tigers and the Lions lose today, there's going to be a lot of sick people here in Detroit. But
I don't want that in the.
I know you don't want it, but it's the world happens.
It does. It does. Which is more important though? Like we got Tigers chasing a playoff spot, chasing a wild card. Scooble chasing a Cy young team developing. Then we got the Lions. It's week 2. But this is against an NFC team that has Super Bowl aspirations of their own.
I think we're going to disagree on this. I think this game is more important for the Lions than the Tigers. And I know it's early in the season, but...
I don't know about that, Terry.
Well, we'll see.
Continue.
Here's the reason. Because the Lions' goal is no longer just to make the playoffs. I heard someone say the other day, and it just pissed me off. He said, I think the Lions are going to make the playoffs this year. I'm like, duh. But the Lions' goal is no longer just to make the playoffs.
Right.
It's to win the division. It's to get a number 1 or number 2 seed. So, and the Tigers, I'm sorry, they're not making the playoffs this year.
They might not.
No, they're not.
But they're definitely not if they lose today. Like the chances go down dramatically if they lose. I think every game in the NFL is important, Terry, especially against an NFC team. You're totally right. They want to get that number 1 seed in the NFC. Win the division first, but then get the number 1 seed in the NFC, specifically this year, so that every game leading to the Super Bowl can be in a dome. They got 14 to 17 games inside this year. If you get the number 1 seed, you're guaranteed Ford Field, New Orleans for the Super Bowl. That's what they want.
Yeah, that's what they want. But here's the other reason why the Lions game is more important to Detroit fans. It's more important for their psyche. Because every time the Lions lose a game, here's what my beautiful audience and the Lion fans do. Oh, my God. They'll never win another game again. I told you the same old Lions, blah, 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 blah. And, the secondary's bad, and Aidan Hutchinson didn't get enough sacks, and Dan Campbell's an idiot, and what are we going to do now?
But Terry, that's the fan base. Which, yeah, I get it. Not to throw any shade on them, but the question I asked, which you wrote, you used the word important. The most important game. It's for the Tigers. Excuse me. You got Caden Montero on the mound against the Orioles, another team in the AL. They locked up their wild card spot for the most part, but you got to go take 2 or 3, especially after losing that game last night. It's got to be the Tigers.
Okay, but here's the deal with the Tigers. A, they're not going to make the playoffs. B, if they do, they'll get swept in the first round. So what's the big deal?
You got to get there. You got to get everyone counting them off at the trade deadline. But people around the network say this is an F. This is an F. The season is over. No, they're battling. They sold, but they got better. They sold, but they bought. This team's for real. In fact, JZJ in the chat, Mr. Foster, says, God bless Broder for putting up with Grandpa T in the morning. You're crapping on my Tigers.
Well, they're not that good. But, here's the thing. Yes, they could make the playoffs, but I'm saying they're not. But as far as being a playoff contender, they screwed themselves when they traded Flaherty.
Yeah.
Because the key in the playoffs is you can get a rotation of 3 good pitchers. You're just as dangerous as anybody.
Yeah.
The Tigers gave that up for the future, as they usually do. But last time I checked, the name of the show is Woodward and Maine, and the Maine is on the Lion.
It is.
But the Lions...
Real quick, Terry, let's introduce these guys real quick.
Yes.
We'll ask them the question because we haven't seen you in a minute, KG.
What?
In the sound look, baby.
What up, man? Back like I never left.
I love it. Which game is more important, for the Tigers or for the Lions today?
I want to agree with Terry so bad, but I got to say the Tigers as of right now because they are so close to having that wild card spot. Now, am I necessarily confident that they can really take a playoff series? Not necessarily, but for the city, for how long we've waited, I think we do deserve to at least have that. So I want to see the Tigers make the playoffs. I really do.
I love it. In the TD booth, we got Mr. Pete Spivak. Pete, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
That's not his name. Sneaky Pete.
It is Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky Pete.
Let's get
Yes,
it
sir.
right.
How you doing today? And
Doing all right.
B, which game's more important? Tigers versus Orioles, game 3?
Well, as you can see, I am well represented here. Do I have the Tiger shirt? I even have old school Tigers under the line.
Dude, bro, let me
Yeah.
stop. What are you doing with a Joey Harrington jersey?
Ain't it bad?
Story.
You got to retire that with me.
Story.
Did you get that at what's the little discount places
Yeah.
they have out?
No.
Marshalls?
Story.
No,
Story.
where you can get stuff for like 99 cents.
Burlington Kovac?
Story. I'll tell you exactly how this came to be.
All right.
If anybody out there remembers the old 1270 WXYT, the sports station, you know that I was assistant producer with Maz on the Lund and Spindler show, SNL in the mornings. We made so much fun of Joey Harrington that after he left the Lions or was dealt or traded, I forgot how it ended, they had the big blowout sale, I think, at Walmart for
Goodwill.
his jerseys, like 80% off.
Oh, okay.
So we
Walmart.
loaded up on them just as a joke, but since the black jerseys are cool again, it's just...
Not that one.
Not that one.
Hey,
that's
yo, I
part
thought
of
bro went to the dollar store.
Yeah,
to get that
for
jersey.
real.
It's part of the joke. Yeah, it's
Still
about,
said the Goodwill
I
in the
want you to
chat.
make fun. Make fun. Poke fun, baby.
Right.
But I'm representing
St.
both.
Vincent
I thought
de
you had
Paul.
a Gibraltar Trade Center.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it came from.
KG, is this a Foreman Mills?
Yeah,
type am I in the right category?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There you go,
Yeah.
brother. You learning. You learning, bro.
See, I'm trying to get to the
Okay,
barbecue,
all right.
Terry. I'm trying to get to the barbecue. I'm that much closer.
Yeah. Him and Neil still pending, but we working
So,
on it.
what's more important? Brohammer,
Yo,
answer the question. I got you distracted.
I got you, my friend. What was the question?
What's more important today for Detroit sports fans? Tigers winning or the Lions beating Tampa?
Well, Tigers are 2.5 games out with 13 to play. The Lions only have 16 games to go in their season. The NFL regular season is a building towards the playoffs. It's the only regular season in the Big Four sports where you build towards the playoffs from week one. Not that you don't work towards the playoffs in the others, but there's only so many games in the NFL. I think the NFL actually is more important than the Tigers today, to be honest with you, because the Lions are in the middle of a historic run that we have never seen in this city. And even though the Tigers are way overdue to make a World Series run, a legit World Series run, it's the Lions.
All right. And that's what we're here to talk about today, Terry. The Lions, the Woodward and Maine.
Right.
We got a matchup. We have a rematch against that 2023 NFC divisional round, 31-23 victory, Lions over the Bucs. And if you remember, Terry, they also beat the Bucs in Week 5. The Bucs were floundering a little bit. Once they lost that game, that's when they got hot. They went on a stretch of winning, got them into the playoffs. Unfortunately, they ran into the Lions and Derek Barnes again in the playoffs. So can the Lions win 3 in a row? It's hard to beat a team 3 times, Terry.
That's in the same season.
Right.
That doesn't count in this instance.
But there's a lot of carryover. Don't you think that Baker Mayfield, Todd Bowles, Mike Evans, and this team, they're coming into Ford Field after experiencing that playoff crowd. They're like, all right, we know what to expect now. We saw the Falcons, who everyone was picking now to win our division. They look crappy in Week 1. This is our chance to go make a statement to the NFL. They got a new OC. Baker looks pretty good. Can they go to Detroit and get their second victory of the day?
I'm sure they're going to be motivated, but the secondary's banged up, and Amon St. Brown is not going to catch one pass for 1 yard or whatever he did last week. He's going to explode this week. Jamo, he's got his foot is jacked up, so we don't know what he's going to be. But the bottom line, Lions offensive line, as long as that's relatively healthy, that is a problem for every NFL team.
Yeah.
Of course, and the other thing that the Lions have to guard against with the team, not just Tampa, but, if they play the Bears, the Vikings, Green Bay, is you are now what everybody wants to be. You are the team. So, yeah, everybody's going to bring in their A game.
Yeah. By the way, shout out Steve DeYoung in the chat says, good morning, good people.
Shout out.
We got Jeff M. Good morning, Lions fans, from a Canadian Lions fan.
Hey.
Ryan's reaction,
Across the
Lions
street.
fan mail. Salty Pork Chops, Jay Cruzen, Danny Bennett. John Henry was coming this morning on a bus full of 54 Lions fans. I think they're all watching. At least John Henry is. Shout out to him. But Terry, you're right. I think I really like the Bucs, and I like their team. I think they have a good chance to make some noise. They're running into the Lions to me at the wrong time, or the Lions may be getting a bonus hitting the Bucs at this time. The Lions are trying to get their offense going, get it in rhose. You said Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't have his game, his
last
normal
week
game.
was a preseason game for the Lions.
It
basically.
was.
Yeah.
And now they run against the Bucs, whose secondary is depleted. So you brought up Amon-Ra St. Brown, you brought up Jamo. This has potential to be a big offensive game for the Lions. Literally, Jamel Dean is the only cornerback who's worth talking about in their secondary right now. It could be a big one for the offense. Not to just run all over the Bucs right now, because they're going to compete, but Vegas has them at like 7, the Lions winning by 7 or 8. People think this is going to be a blowout. I don't know. But I think they have a chance with that depleted secondary.
Now, are we talking about the new blowout in the NFL with 10 points is considered a blowout now?
Yeah.
You don't blow anybody out like in college.
I think a new blowout. Yeah, a 14-point win. That's hard to do.
It is hard to do. It could be that. But the thing is, NFL games, and it's the old saying, it's true, are decided by 6 or 7 plays per game. So what you have to do, and it's frustrating for fans, I get this, because they want to see the Lions be better on every play, every minute. But that's not reality.
Right.
What you do is figure out a way to win a game by 2, 3 points, 4 points, whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you're the Panthers, of course.
We very rarely see 10-point spreads in Vegas.
Yeah.
They know what's happening.
I feel like there used to be 35-14 games, each week, a 38-24, like high-scoring games. But now it feels like, especially with these a Lions team last week who was committed to running the ball, all of a sudden it's like middle of the second quarter, and they only hand the ball once or twice. It gets moving fast. But I want to talk.
You know why that's happened?
Why?
Because you no longer have wide receivers with pot bellies. When you look at each individual roster, these dudes are built. They're buff. They got 8-packs. They don't have 6-packs now. They have 8-packs. So all these dudes can play. And all these coaches have analytics and they have all this kind of stuff. So you got to figure out a way just to be a little bit better on that Sunday.
Yeah.
And what the Lions have that other teams can't get is the motivation from Dan Campbell, the fact that they're building a team not only with good players, but good chemistry.
Yeah.
Which I used to make fun of because I thought they went too far that way back in the day, and they would give up a Randy Moss for a cornerback with a pot belly.
Like Terry Fitt.
Right, with a pot belly.
With the pot belly.
And an attitude.
You know who doesn't have a pot belly? Jamo.
No.
Jamo.
Facts.
We saw him explode, or we saw him break out in game 1. 5 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown, and was it 13, 14 rushing yards? Terry, I'm going to hit you just with the headline question right from the start. Can Jamo be wide receiver 1 by the end of the season? Can that game be the norm for Jameson Williams? At least be the what to expect week in and week out.
Here, Pop's going to give you another lesson.
Thanks.
I don't like questions that start with can. Because anything can happen. Will Jamo be wide receiver 1? Yeah.
You think so?
Challenge me.
Terry, will Jameson Williams, will Waymo be wide receiver 1 by the end of the season?
He will not. And the reason is because the little short, motivated wide receiver called Amon-Ra St. Brown is so much more professional than he is. Now, he doesn't have the physical tools and the speed that Jamo has, but I respect St. Brown so much that, he's going to go into his little factory, and let's say that Jamo becomes wide receiver number 1 for a week or 2. St. Brown's going to go into his little factory. He's going to look at some stats. He'll get all pissed off and everything. He'll come out better than ever because this is a guy that is motivated by anything. He reminds me of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan used to make shit up.
Literally make shit up.
Right. Oh, he said something about no, he didn't say anything. But that's what St. Brown does. He said, they talking about me. They don't like me. They think I can't play. And he adds all this stuff up, and he gets motivated, stimulated, and pissed off. And that's why I just don't think Jamo is motivated enough to be wide receiver 1. Now, when you look at the talent, he should be.
Talent's there.
He's tall. He's fast as all get up. And he's scary when he gets the ball.
Yeah.
When St. Brown catches the ball, you're not scared. But when Jamo gets it, it's like, okay, he got the ball. This dude could break every play. So if he had the mental makeup of St. Brown, he'd be wide receiver 1 at the end of the game today.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
He would be.
Well, he's definitely, to me, closer to a wide receiver type or maybe wide receiver 1 archetype than I thought. I even thought this entire year it's still going to be a gadget type year for Jamo. They're going to try just creative ways to give him the ball, 3 or 4 times a game. But yeah, he had a 52-yard, bomb, that electric stop and go move. But all his other catches last week, they were various routes. He was all over the field. They have way more trust in him early than I even expected.
Well, they have to be. He can't be a gadget guy this year.
Yes.
The reason is, if your aspiration is to go to the Super Bowl and win it, Jamo can't be a gadget guy. Every year you come out, you have to be a little bit different. And so the difference this year is going to be Jamo is going to be a primary receiver. He's going to be a guy that finally stretches the field. He's going to be a guy that is a total ingranation. I just made that word up.
New word.
Offense.
Webster, put it in.
Look that up in the dictionary. You can't find it.
Yeah. No, I think the best thing that could have happened to this Lions offense last week was Jamo having a big game and Amon-Ra St. Brown not having a big game, production-wise, especially going into this week where it's one cornerback and a bunch of 5th, 6th, undrafted free agent stringers going up against this Lions team. Either Jamo's going to have another big day all over the field, or the center of the field is going to be wide open for St. Brown and Laporta to absolutely eat and absolutely feast against this depleted defense.
I was just going to say that we do not have our eye on the prize, but you just said it. The guy today that's going to have a big game in the past is going to be Sam Laporta.
Without a doubt.
Right.
Winfield's gone, one of the best safeties, one of the best defensive backs in the NFL. He's gone. That leads right to Sam Laporta.
We forget that this guy also, I know he's white, but he can also stretch the field too.
He can. He can. That's what they saw. That's why they took him over. It was over Michael Mayer, right? Over some of the other tight ends in that draft. They took him second round. They took him over Brian Branch. We'll get to him shortly because big day incoming for him too. Jamo, man, he has so much potential. But Terry, I want to ask you. Because we're talking about the city of Detroit. It's going to be electric down there. But I don't know if you saw, there was a tweet put out earlier this week. I forget who the original tweet was, but it was a picture of Jamo after the game on Sunday, after his breakout day on Sunday Night Football. He's hanging out at Zorba's Coney Island on 6 Mile. You scroll through the comments of that tweet. There are some supportive people, but there's also some people ripping on him for being there. But then Corey Woods, hang on right there, Pete. Corey Woods of M Live. He tweeted, he interviewed Jamo's dad, and Jamo's dad said this quote right on the screen.
Coney Island?
I don't know if
it was probably later.
It was probably later. I don't know if it was at the Coney Island, but basically the tweet was, Jamo was starting to feel like home. Like, you're not going to get the best Jameson Williams until he starts feeling like he's at home. He can hang out with his boys, and he can just focus on football. Maybe this looks a little different, or there's some, stuck up people from the burbs who may look at this picture and question it. But the key to this is what Corey got out of Jamo's dad. If he's starting to feel like home and Jamo continues to accelerate, sky's the limit. But what do you make of this? Why are people worried so much about it?
I'm confused. Yeah, I was going to ask that question. What's wrong with going to Zorba's Coney Island?
I don't know.
I know it was late.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all.
But we do here in Michigan.
Hey, y'all out there, what do you do after you hang out downtown? And it's 3 in the morning.
Lafayette, Coney Island, baby.
Lafayette, Coney Island. Yelling at each other, knocking down 2-3 conies.
That's right.
Yep.
So why can't Jameson Williams do the same
We
thing?
go to Coney Island here in Detroit.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was at Bob's Crack House.
Right.
Right.
Something like that.
He wasn't at the White House.
He wasn't at the White House, right.
Is this is for my own knowledge? Like, is where Zorba's is on 6 Mile? Is that a bad area? Like, is this?
All right,
why are people worried about this?
Here's the deal with Detroit. If you're not downtown, if you're not in the suburbs, if you're in that inner city core, people think that you're gonna get killed.
Right.
Which is so
He's
dumb.
fine. He's at Zorba's Coney.
dumbest.
I've been to Zorba's Coney. Not at 3 in the morning, but I've never felt threatened.
Which is more ruthless, hanging out at Zorba's or handing out water to kids?
He got criticized for that too.
Yeah.
There's these kids who sell bottles of water outside of Eastern Market when you leave for $1 a bottle. Jamo gave each of those kids $100.
Awesome.
And he got criticized for that. To me, that shows me a fan base that just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
No big deal. Here I am. I'm living in some house, not the best house in the world. Somebody's giving me $100. Shoot, I'm celebrating.
Absolutely.
And then I might buy me a Jamo jersey.
You're an 8-year-old kid getting a $100 bill? Freaking do cartwheels.
Right.
You might need to ask for 2 to get some of the NFL authentic ones that are getting up there. $200, $180, $200 are getting aggressive. But I think it was you told me we were having a similar conversation, and it was about the comment C.J. Gardner-Johnson made. C.D. Deuce on his way out of town, talking about he and Jamo were the only ones who embraced the city of Detroit. People freaked out about that. Like, what's he talking about? His teammates in the locker? Like, they're going to be so pissed about that. Was that an outrageous comment to me, or what's to make of that?
No. You know who else used to say that? Back in the day? John Sally.
Really?
Yeah. He
Disney
said
actor?
he was the only one that hung out in the city. And his teammates were in the burbs or downtown. And he lived in Palmer Park. There's certain spots I guess athletes are not supposed to go. Right?
Zorba's.
You're not supposed to go
He
to
can go to
Zorba's.
Zorba's,
You're not supposed
man.
to be
It
on
is
7
okay.
Mile. You're not supposed to be wherever. But you know what? Hey, that's part of our fabric. That's part of the city.
And just call it what it is. Detroit is a black city. So that's why people like CJGJ said that, because Detroit is a predominantly black city, and they were just trying to embrace the actual culture within the city. Not saying black people were better or anything that. But I mean, for him to, you know, just be going to Coney Island or handing out water to kids in the hood, like, what are we talking about, man? You should be happy that he's embracing the city that he plays for. And I promise you, in return, they love Jameson Williams, man. Everybody from kids down to adults that live in those neighborhoods, they absolutely love the type of character that Jamo brings to the table each and every week.
Yeah, you know what? I asked you a question last week. Who is the face of the Detroit Lions? And I said Aidan Hutchinson. But probably at Zorba's Coney Island, probably on 6 Mile, 7 Mile, it's Jamo. He's probably already the face of the Detroit Lions.
That's a fantastic point. There's your national your marketing campaigns on the billboards type of faces, your Hutch and your MCDC and Amon-Ra St. Brown, but in little pockets of the city, in little pockets of Detroit Lions fandom, it's Jameson Williams. He's the future. He's the one who signifies this team actually taking that next step, not just being a Super Bowl contender, but being a team that every single team in the NFL fears, including the Chiefs. Just with that many weapons, you know, the whole remake of this Lions team, Jameson Williams is that guy to take him to that next level of being a dangerous, dangerous team.
And if comfort makes him a better football player, I don't care where he hangs out. Well, probably don't go to Bob's Crack House. Go there, but
you ain't got to worry about him going there.
Terry, you're giving me great advice. You're painting this picture well for me, but I need some relationship advice from you. Are you able to give me some relationship advice?
I'm the love doctor. Sure.
The love doctor. Oh boy. I just got shockingly Caucasian just here for a second.
I'm trying to find the remote, boys.
No, all good. All good. I guess I'm glowing, or I'm...
You are going to glow. You're going to glow.
You're blushing,
man.
man.
Look for the remote.
Yeah, so Terry, I am single, but pretend I'm Carlton Davis or Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield. There's a lot of breakups that happen in this game. Most recently, Carlton Davis.
About sports breakups,
well,
right?
Yeah. Maybe you bridge it to a relationship advice off the field for me. I'll take any advice I can get for real though. But Carlton Davis, he was surprised. His girlfriend last year, the Bucs, out of nowhere, decided to trade him for, the prospects of going after someone younger. They traded him for a draft pick. Said, hey, it's been a really nice 6 years, Carlton Davis. We're going to go younger. I know, we did all right. Carlton Davis is now in Detroit. He realizes the grass might be greener on the other side, but what is that anger? What should Carlton Davis be feeling headed into this game against his ex?
Well, you always want to hurt your ex when they dump you.
Stun on him.
So I think there's extra motivation. Now, if you asked him about this, no, it's just another ball game, which is baloney. That is not true. He will be extra motivated. He wants to show them that they made a mistake. You always want someone to believe that they need you, even after they dump you. The other thing is the NFL, more than any other league, is a young man's league. Because when you go out there and sacrifice your body, and that's what you're doing. Every time you walk out there, you're sacrificing your body. You get hit and smacked and knocked down. You're just a little bit less of a man than you were the previous game. So you got to try to milk it as long as you can. And the organizations are like, he's old. We can do better. And, you talk about the breakup with Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff in L.A. it wasn't an age factor. It was that the great Sean McVay, who everybody's, this guy is great, gave up on Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Just gave up on him.
Yeah. They wanted the new shinier toy. They were...
Well, they want the old toy.
They were already cheated. They were older, but
no, they wanted that stuffed dog that the kids have played with for a long time. It was all a little beaten up and used, but they felt they could get more out of them.
He was missing an eye, or the eye's kind of hanging out of the teddy. But that teddy bear still had a cannon and fit with what they want. They wanted to go all in and pay for Von Miller.
The teddy bear had a little canister inside with $100 bills. So there was something special about that teddy bear.
So Stafford can give out $100 bills, but Jamo can't.
Correct.
I see.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Weird. What's the difference? Ironically, though, Carlton Davis is actually needed here. Like, he is, to me, we may not appreciate him yet, or his new girlfriend may not appreciate him yet, but it's games like today, which are why you bring in Carlton Davis, why you make that trade. Specifically, games like today where there's a Mike Evans on the other side. Mm-hmm. And you could even stretch that to the other newcomers. Amik Robertson, huge game for him too. What do they like to do? Godwin out of the slot. Mm-hmm. They like Rashad White, Bucky Irving in the flats. Mm-hmm. That could be an Amik Robertson assignment. And although they don't have the top rushing attack yet, DJ Reader, he's making his debut this week.
Yes, sir.
Although the Bucs like to sling it, Baker Mayfield's a gunslinger, Terry. They like to do it similar to the Sean McVays, the Kyle Shanahans of the world. That's the Liam Cohen coaching tree, their new OC. They still like to try to run the ball so that they can do play action off of that and whatnot. So you got DJ Reader in there, stuff in the middle, helping open up things for Aidan Hutchinson and that pass rush that, unlike last week against the Rams, although they made a difference, they didn't get home on Stafford. Do you think they're going to?
Yes. Aidan Hutchinson will have a big day today. The reason is Baker Mayfield is a different quarterback than Matthew Stafford. Baker Mayfield is going to look over the field, try to figure stuff out. Sometimes he hangs on to the ball too much. Aidan Hutchinson is going to get him. Matthew Stafford, and everybody's, they didn't sack him. Here's Matthew Stafford. Hike, boom.
Out.
Hike, boom.
It's crazy.
Hike.
1.6
just
seconds.
throws the ball.
49 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's not the amount. It's
the
the way he
release.
does it. He doesn't go hike, boom. He just goes hike, boom.
Yeah.
He do it like less than 2 seconds. the ball is gone.
1.6.
I should say 49 times for only 317 yards with 164 or 62 yarder in there. So
Yeah, but that was my man made like a little stop move.
and that you take that off, we're talking 250 yards for 48 passes. So he had to get it out quickly. It's not going to be that way with Baker. You think Hutch, with the addition of DJ Reader, with the starting right tackle for the Bucs out today, Luke Gedeke, he's not playing. There is Tristan Wirfs on the left side, but the thing about Hutch, he can play anywhere. He can play anywhere on that line.
They move
it could be a
him
big
around.
day.
Yeah, he comes up the middle sometimes. You don't know where this dude is.
What about with because you think the pass rush, they're going to get home today.
They're
That's
gonna
what you
get home
believe,
today.
right? Do you think, because Marcus Davenport, unless anything has changed this morning, he's doubtful with a groin injury. That was the worry coming in.
I don't think he's gonna play.
I doubt it too. When
Doubtful means no.
it means very unlikely. With that in mind, Aidan Hutchinson's going to have a big day. Reader's back. Aleem's still there. Who's going to pick up the slack for what Davenport was doing on the other side? Is it James Houston? Does he get the nod? Or is he going to be another healthy scratch? Is it Levi Onwuzurike, who's been talked about all offseason?
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be Onwuzurike.
Yeah, had a sack last week.
For whatever reason, man, they've soured on Houston, and I think we as a fan base said, well, he had the 7 sacks in a half a season, but the mistake that is often made is you take a small sample size and you extrapolate it over a whole season. Say, well, this is a 16, 17 sack guy. No, that's not necessarily the case. So there is something about Houston that they just don't like.
Yeah.
Or they don't trust.
He's not their prototypical. He's not the type of edge rusher that they really want. They want the Marcus Davenports, the monster who can just crunch the pocket together with Hutch. They're both 6'6", 6'7". They're both behemoths. They want that pocket to collapse. Mm-hmm. Houston, he's the bendy edge around the outside. Like, that's the only way he's going to get to him. They tried to play him at Sam linebacker.
And you know what happens when the bendy edge guy often takes himself out of the play. He tries to bend and edge, and he's like 10 yards this way, and they're like, okay, we're going this way though, dude. You're not helping us. But when you collapse the pocket, then my man is like inside of a wave, and it's like, okay, this thing is about to collapse any second now, and then he'll either make a mistake or get sacked or something awful will happen for the opposing quarterback. But when you're that bendy guy, it's like, okay, all I got to do is worry about this guy and these two guys up here. you know what? I can bend my ass the other way, and I get like 10 or 15 yards.
Especially Baker. Like,
Yeah.
Baker loves throwing on the run. He loves getting out, improvising, Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie style. That's when he's at his best, but he's still a gunslinger. And you hope that pass rush, that defensive line gets enough pressure to force a couple extra bad throws. He's going to push the limit regardless. That's what he does.
Fumble.
That's what he does.
Big fumble on the play.
And
The key is letting him throw it to Kirby Joseph.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Kirby Joseph is. Here's the thing, and the thing is, Baker Mayfield, when he's under duress, he'll throw 2 picks.
Yes.
Now he might gouge you sometimes with his runs. He might gouge you with some passes. I mean, he's not as horrible as I thought he was, but the thing that you have to be careful about are turnovers.
Yes.
You can pass for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns and look good and everything. But when you throw those 2 picks, it usually means a loss. Mm-hmm. So that's why Baker is not high on a lot of teams' lists. But if you're playing against him, you know he has the potential to kill you.
Yeah.
Or kill himself.
Yeah. He's got weapons too. Mike Evans, Godwin, Jalen McMillan out of Washington. He had a big touchdown last week. Trey Palmer, he likes to sling it. I think it's an important game for those newcomers. We're talking Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson, Reeder. We'll even get to the offensive. Kevin Zeitler, a pass protection day. This is what he was brought in for. So it's big day for them. Might not be a big day on the stat sheet for those guys, but if they do what they're doing, that leads to big days out of Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. Maybe Terrion Arnold going and getting that pick. Or Brian Branch going and getting Rashad White in the flats. Chicken wings. Do you like drumsticks or do you like the flats?
I like the flats.
See?
Come on, Terry.
You're a drumstick guy?
I'm a
Now,
drums
most
guy.
people are drumstick guys.
Yeah, you're a drumstick guy. You're
But
a
you know
flats
what?
guy.
Sometimes the drumstick at that very, very tip gets too crunchy for me.
I hear you.
But the flats, it's more consistent.
Yeah. Today it's all about the flats. Like that's where the Bucs are going to try to live. It's all about the flats. And if it's not about the flats, it's like an old couple going to the casino. It's all about the slots. It's going to be all about Chris Godwin in the slot. What can he do against Amik Robertson? Maybe Terrion Arnold. What can Rashad White do out of the backfield? I think it could be a big tackle for loss day out of Brian Branch, out of Anzalone. And then I think TA and Kirby Joseph are in that category of interception machines. They might get one today too.
Right. And sometimes you may send Branch. He's a heat-seeking missile.
Heat-seeking missile.
They might send him after Baker and to bust him up. And quiet as it's kept, you know who else does that now and then?
Who?
Alex Anzalone.
That's fact.
The one guy that I keep hearing sucks. The one guy, I was listening to radio, and people were asking, is Anzalone even going to be on the 53-man roster?
That's crazy at this point.
That is absolutely crazy.
This
Now,
year?
This year.
Right. At this point,
This year. Now, did you see who got a game ball last week?
Alex Anzalone.
Anzalone.
And he balled
But
too.
he has been he's been on Lions fans' radar from day one. I think the dude can play.
He can.
He's elevated his game every single
Right.
year.
Every year.
Yeah.
Was it because he's white? He's got the long blonde ponytail? Is he like,
White.
No, that
I'm
actually
telling
works to
you,
his advantage at linebacker.
Right.
the formula.
One
Yeah.
guy,
Samson.
white guy with a long blonde ponytail.
Samson in his hair.
If you want to have a good defense,
He's
you need.
a tough cookie, Terry. And what do you do with tough
He
cookies?
is tough. But here's the one thing I noticed about when I was in the dressing room.
I was about to drop a bar.
He's got little bird legs.
Oh my
He
God.
does.
Leave his legs alone, Terry. She's looking at the man's
He
legs.
does. He
For
got little bird legs. Cute little legs. He look like Twiggy.
no legs can snap you in half, Terry.
These two don't know.
But he can play. Oh,
He can leg
I
press
know
you,
who
Terry.
know
he
who
is.
Twiggy was, Terry. Come on.
I can
Well,
put it
he
together.
chuckles, so he must know who Twiggy is.
No, I was chuckling because I feel like I have to defend my fellow chicken leggers.
You're right.
Like I got chicken legs too.
Little chicken
And
leg.
I got made fun of growing up. In fact, first game I pitched against Birmingham Groves down the road, I had my pants rolled up. You know how we used to do back in the day. And I hear these chants from their dugout. He's got chicken. I got self-conscious, man. Didn't
Now, I
wear
thought
You
it
sparking bad
baseball-
memories. Come on, Terry.
Baseball, they used to make fun of your arms. They said, "Oh, this dude, he can't hit. He got little pencil arms."
Yeah, well, fortunately, they couldn't make fun of my arm in high school.
Ooh, southpaw, baby.
Who am I?
Big
Who
Jack.
I am? Pete Weber? Who I am? No, but I was saying real quick, because I was about to drop a bar, which probably isn't a bar now that I'm prefacing it with that.
Yeah.
But Alex Anzalone is a tough cookie. And what do you do with tough cookies? You dip them in milk.
Okay.
And so there's a little Caucasian reference in there.
Oh,
see, it
I
didn't
see
come
where
off
you're
as well
going.
when I had
see.
to open it, Terry and KG.
That's okay. It's
Black
a
people
Sunday.
dip their cookies in milk too, man. That's not all
Oh,
y'all.
the milk. There was Devontae Adams and some other wide receivers came out this offseason. They were telling the story. I forget what topic or what led to the topic, but it was about white cornerbacks. It was when Cooper DeJean was coming out.
Yeah.
And Devontae Adams told this story that when he was, I think it was when he was with the Packers, they had a saying, if ever he went out or any receiver went out and there was a white quarterback opposite them, they would yell back to the team, milk check. They would go milk check.
Milk check.
And so it became this whole thing, and now it's, I think, spread around the league because there are, 3 in the league? Jason Sehorn is probably the most notable name, but
Yeah.
there aren't that many.
Like black folks in hockey.
There's not.
There are more.
There are more.
There's
They
more
are
and more each year.
Yeah. So, hey, I don't know where to transition from
Right.
there, but Lions versus Bucks. No,
Well, are you trying to say thank God the Lions don't have a white cornerback?
yes.
Okay.
Although Cooper he's really sick if he stays healthy. But
Cooper G.
If the boy could play, I mean.
if the boy could play, I'd like this cornerback room. I like this secondary now.
Yeah.
Even with Ife Melifonwu being out, we got depth. We're talking about depth.
We are. And a lot of things that was slept on last week. Terry and Arnold, I do realize that he kind of got torched last week, and that's to be expected with a rookie corner. But you got to look at the volume. You know, Cooper Kupp had, 14 catches, not a lot of yards.
110.
Exactly. Stafford threw the ball 49 times, had to get the ball out the quickest he's ever gotten it out in his career. And this secondary just looks a lot better to me. And even in the case of Terry and Arnold, okay, if he's giving up the catches, that's fine. I don't necessarily like that, but fine. He's not giving up yards after catch. And I think that's the big thing that's going unnoticed with Terry and Arnold's game right now. I really like what this secondary brings. And if anybody knows Davis, it's Carl. I mean, not Davis, but
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is Carlton Davis, man. So I'm really looking forward to what this secondary can bring today, especially when they have some pieces missing.
Did you hear in Aaron Glenn's press conference about Carlton Davis in their cornerback in their team meeting? How he gave a preview of the Bucs wide receiver. He said it was the best preview breakdown of an opposing wide receiver group that he's ever seen since he's been in the NFL. He's got that experience going up against them.
So they know something,
They know something.
which is going to help them.
Well, but
Now-
so does Mike. So do they know about Carlton Davis?
Of course.
But when we're talking
Do
about
they know about Terrion Arnold?
No.
Do they know about Rick Shaw? Do they know
No.
about no, not as much.
Terran Arnold, he can tackle.
Yes.
He kept them all in front. He knows how to that's the biggest, one of the biggest difference to me in the secondary, whether it's Carlton Davis, T.A., Robertson, Rakestraw, they can all tackle. That's Kendall Vildor and Cam Sutton, they were getting eaten up. They couldn't tackle. Cam Sutton was all right.
And
But he was getting burned 50 yards
I don't
the
want
other
to
way.
sound like a homer, but I think Terrion Arnold got screwed on a couple of those pass interference penalties.
Well, the second one was kind of obvious,
Yeah,
but
the
yeah, that
second
first
one.
one was soft. I didn't like that at all. But he's going to get these type of plays. You got to expect that. I want him to keep going out there, keep being the type of player that he is, and eventually he's going to be opportunistic and get some interceptions. I do feel that.
You know what Aaron Glenn was telling you in that cut there, Mr. Matthew Broder, is that this is going to be the test, early test for his new secondary, the new positions. I think Brian Branch is going to be tested the most today because he's captain of that secondary back there. He's the one that's going to have to champion all of his boys to be in the exact position because Liam Cohen is going to be playing video game mode as offensive coordinator. Now, how confident are you as an organization when you have Super Bowl aspirations that you bring in an offensive coordinator from the University of Kentucky with no NFL experience? This guy broke Kentucky records all over the place. He plays video game mode. He just proved it in week 1. He's going to prove it here in week 2. This is why Baker Mayfield's arm is going to fall off during this game because he's going to be throwing all of it. This is the test for the secondary today.
I like that they have this secondary for this test.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect. While Tampa Bay's depleted, the Detroit Lions secondary, they're full go.
Right.
And they can match up with a group of four really good wide receivers.
Absolutely.
4 really good wide receivers. Terry, what could go wrong today, though? We're talking about, we seem to be pretty confident that the Lions could win. I think they are. We'll give our game predictions here in a minute.
I tell you what could go wrong.
What?
The thing that could go wrong is what we saw in the Seattle game last year, where Hutch is putting pressure on Mayfield, but he slips out the back door and finds wide open receivers. Because you have to understand, he's not going to throw the ball after 2 seconds. He's going to be throwing the ball like 4 or 5 seconds later. If he's able to do that, and guys are going to be able to get loose. I don't care who you are as a cornerback. If you got 4 to 5 seconds, you got to guard it. It's not happening. So Baker Mayfield could crush them if he's able to get that extra time, slipping out the back end. I don't worry about Tampa running the ball on the Lions. Seems like the Lions, they got that locked down. So you can't run against them. So
they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher. And Easy gave the stat on the heavyweights on Friday. I think at the time it was like 329 days. So it's like 331 days, almost 2 seasons since their last 100-yard rusher they've given up.
Wow.
Okay, I don't like that stat because it's not like you play every day. So the whole 331 day to me, crap.
So call
It's
it
an
was like
impressive feat
22 to
still.
25
You gotta count
How
days.
games.
about
You gotta count
saying
games.
they haven't allowed a
How many
100-yard
games?
rusher in 30 games?
Yeah.
I like
That's
that
what
one
you gotta
better.
say.
There. Tell Easy that and tell him Jared Goff's a
I
good
will
quarterback
tell
while
you
you're
that
at it.
because I always used to hate the thing is, Ohio State hasn't beaten Michigan in 1,175 days. We only play once a year. Get that crap out of my face.
It looks bigger. It looks bigger. It looks
Exactly.
better. Do you like big girls?
Oh,
What?
Terry like him a big girl. Stop it. Don't lie, Terry. Don't get up here and be lying.
Hey, I've messed with big girls before.
Okay.
They got a big boy on that defensive line. Is Vita Vea, defensive tackle of the Bucs? Could he be involved in any concern you have about the Lions, who like to run the ball too? Their identity is the offensive line in the run game. This is arguably a top 3 defensive tackle in the league. Vita Vea is a mammoth. Does that worry you?
Mammoth, that is a word. He is a concern,
Elephant?
but I have faith in the Lions' offensive line against anybody.
Fair.
I have faith in David Montgomery pushing your ass out against anybody.
His quads, man, his quads are
Ridiculous.
he wouldn't be able to
Tree
put a
stumps.
quad in this box right now.
Tree stumps.
Yeah.
It's true.
No Kalijah Cansey either. So I mean,
Kenny Powers in the chat. Shout out to you, Kenny Powers. Says not a single 100-yard rusher. But they still gave up 100 plus on the ground in multiple games. Oh, DNC ENT. There hasn't been a 100+ yard rusher since that Panthers game they lost in Carolina. They run for like 313
Yeah, that
yards.
was crazy.
Yeah. That was the biggest game of the. Was it 2021?
22.
22.
Yeah, it was
where
during
they were,
that 98
they were on the way
run.
up and then
Yep, it was during the 9 and 8.
And then what happened here in Detroit? Panic.
panic.
Fire everybody.
But that was different though. No team should be rushing for over 300 yards on your defense. Like period.
No, you shouldn't, but
Yeah.
stuff happens.
No, true.
The
But that was a
Baltimore
different
Ravens
era
game
too.
happens.
Yeah.
You know what Dave Campbell said when Vita Vea came up in their press conferences this week? He goes, "Are you worried about Vita Vea?" I forget how the question was phrased. She goes, "Well, he didn't say no. I'm not worried about him." He said, "I feel good. We have a Frank Ragnow. We forget we have the best center in the NFL,
Absolutely.
and we have two of the better guards in the NFL.
Right.
Not to say they're just going to completely take Vita Vea out of the game." But I'm okay with that Lions offensive line. We haven't even talked about Penei Sewell, but we have a Frank Ragnow. We're good. This Lions team is good, but we're good today.
Hey, as long as that toe is ready to go, the offensive line is going to be mean.
Yeah. Terry, last year we had about 10 minutes left in the show, so we got to start getting into this game and the predictions. But I don't want to say it was a coming out party for Jared Goff last year, week 5. But that was the first game of the season where they didn't have Jahmyr Gibbs. They didn't have David Montgomery. They didn't have any run game. They tried at the beginning. They didn't have any run game. Jared Goff picked apart a healthier a healthier Bucs secondary, healthier Bucs defense that included Carlton Davis.
Yep.
Do you
Craig
think-
Reynolds.
Yeah. Week 1 wasn't Jared Goff's best game by any means. Offensive line's pass protection wasn't that great week 1. But do you think they can get that rhythm back? This game, week 2, again, Jamel Dean, and that's it in their secondary. No Winfield. They're depleted.
Yeah,
It's be a big game for Jared.
Here's the other thing that could go wrong. I remember last week, near the end of that game, I lost confidence in Jared
You
Goff.
did, yeah. You said that.
Yeah, I thought if they were going to try to pass the ball in overtime, it wasn't going to work out. On that 2nd and 8, where he threw the interception, as the play was going, I said, I hope it's not a pass play, because for whatever reason, I just thought he was off.
Yeah.
Now, what if he doesn't get it back? That's another factor. Yes, it's a depleted secondary, but still, stuff happens. If he plays like he did at the end of the game last week, I would be worried. But the thing is, they punch you right in the face. Lions could never do that before. They couldn't. One of my criticisms is when they were bad, they might be up 4 points at the end with 5 minutes to go, but they couldn't run out the clock.
Yeah.
This time they not only can run out the clock, but they'll put it in the end zone against you.
Yeah.
So maybe if Goff is off, maybe the play is to go back to the running game heavily.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want them to do that. What happened in overtime was great, but the bottom line, if you're going to compete for a 60-minute game, you got to be balanced.
Yeah. It's the fact that they do have the balance, or they have the ability to have a balanced offense. Goff wasn't playing well week 1. They could go to the running game. If Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't having a good game week 1, hypothetically, they could go to David Montgomery or vice versa. They have so many different ways to attack each team. Ben Johnson, what I worry about, not complacency, Terry, but it's waiting to react to what that defense is giving you that game versus going and doing what you want to do, which I think they can do. And I think they can react if it's, they realize the Bucs are stopping the run today for whatever reason, or Jared Goff's off. They can go the other direction. I want Ben Johnson, this offense, to get into a place where they exert whatever type of offense, whatever game plan they want. They're able to push through that and make that the game plan for the day.
And a couple times a game, particularly in this game, with Jamo, let him fly.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
Vertical.
I want to speak directly to my audience out there. So I'll look. Where's my camera?
Right here, my friend.
Right here. Hello. Here, I want to tell you something. Jared Goff has a strong enough arm to hit Jamo on a fly pattern. Now, a lot of y'all don't think that's the case, but he can. And if it were me, 2-3 times a game, I'm going to say, dude, fly. I'll hit you.
Mm-hmm.
Hit him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hit him. It's like what was it in 1964 when the U.S. Supreme Court decided or tried to define pornography? Like, it's not easy to explain, but you know it when you see it.
Look at you, Mr. Historical. over
You're
there.
right. These references,
Shout out Ted
though.
Lasso.
Where was that on my bingo card today?
man.
Throw it on there. Throw it on there. See, you talked about him. We don't have much time to get into this game more, but yes, he's a deep threat. But I'm gonna stick to it. Jamo, he's a weapon, not just deep, but over the middle of the
Full
field.
route tree.
His speed to be able to he can adjust the defensive scheme and game plan vertically, but he's so fast going horizontally across the field.
Yep.
That to me is what you have to game plan for. It's not just putting a safety over the top so you got
And the
someone
end
deep.
around.
And the end around.
Because when he's got it, even in the backfield, and he's hoofing, the defense has to be said, okay, we got to adjust. There's got to be there's a fear factor.
yeah.
With him, if you get him fully engaged, defenses across the board have to switch up how they play the Lions. Now you're thinking, okay, they can run the ball on us, cool, but we can keep people in the box. Yeah, they got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's cute. He's cute, but he's not going to beat us deep. So we can still have linebackers or the secondary playing somewhat close. But now you got this weapon who can go deep and this weapon who can go from left to right in a heartbeat, you got to switch your defense up. You got to spread people out. Not just back them off, but you got to spread that field because this dude is so dangerous.
Makes life easy for St. Brown, Laporta, like you mentioned. But what it also points to me or makes me think of, I think of Brock Wright against the Chargers, sneaking just right up the seam. Jared Goff throwing the ball right over the middle because that defense had come up. I think about Khalif Raymond, a little wheel route on the outside, gets in one-on-one coverage, a little toss over to him on one side of the field. That's where Ben Johnson gets to play. That's where he gets to this becomes a game for him where he's like, all right, what mismatch do I want to create right now?
Get in his bag.
I got toys.
I got
That's what you
toys.
want.
I got toys. So,
Pause.
Terror.
You nervous? What's up?
Oh no! I won't call Jameson Williams like a rabbit or something.
Yeah,
We'll
let's avoid
going
that.
down that route. We got to get into these game predictions. Like, what are you? How are you thinking this game's going to play out? Set the stage, and then what's that final score?
All right. Every NFL game is a chess match. I don't believe in blowouts. There's going to be 3 or 4 blowouts at some point this season. It's just too early for that. Tampa is motivated. That's a very good team. But they don't have enough. The game's at Ford Field. The Lions are relatively healthy. I see Sam Laporta having a big game. We didn't talk about him enough. And the Lions are going to run the ball effectively. It may not be for a lot of yards because Ben Johnson may decide, really want to balance this, but I'm going to look at yards per carry. Yards per carry are going to be high. I'm not sure how – they're not going to run the ball 12 straight times or 8 straight times or whatever, but I think they're going to be really balanced. Sam Laporta is going to benefit by this. I see the Lions taking this game 31-27 and going 2-0.
Okay.
I like that. KG.
Yeah,
Talk to
man.
me.
So the Lions offensive line are going to have their work cut out today because Todd Bowles, he likes to disguise a lot of his blitzes. And since he's missing a Kalijah Cansey and Antoine Winfield, they're going to need to get to Jared Goff by any means possible. So they need to be on the lookout for that today. But with that being said, this Lions offense, man, the run game, you can't really stop it, man. It's one of the best run games, if not the best running attack in the league. I think Jared Goff has a better passing game from the standpoint of play action. I think he does get Amon-Ra involved a lot more this game. Smash the overall receptions for Amon-Ra. Believe me, I told you first. And the Lions pull out a tough game, man. I think Baker's going to come to play. I got 28-23 Lions victory, man. Let's go.
All right, delicious.
And 4 false starts. Because they in Ford Field.
We need to predict the false starts every game. I forgot about that.
Let's do that, actually. Let's make that a thing. How many false starts? No, with a Ford Field game.
Yeah, people. No, my bad. But last week with the Rams, like, people don't realize they literally had the game plan because the Lions crowd was so loud. They were getting their plays from the sideline, and they had to use motion in order to figure out what exactly they wanted to do because they could not communicate. So that Lions home field advantage, I've said it even before the season, top 3 in the league, maybe number 1. They definitely play a factor in this game.
I'm only going to go 2 for this reason. I think the crazies that really create the noise are going to be split a little bit. They're going to some of them are going to go to the Tigers game.
Good point.
And then a bunch of them will go to the Lions game. So it won't quite be as crazy there. So I'm going to go 2.
Lions game, just they don't get all the degenerates. You got the loyal Tigers fans who are ready for a
crazy.
Game.
Both places are going to be packed out today. I promise you. They play around the same time. Both Ford Field is going to be electric. This is week 2, man. Another playoff opponent, and I'm so glad that they started the season this way because they needed this early test. Hopefully, they can clean up some of the things they were messing up on last week, but should be a better offense today.
2 false starts, 4 false starts, 2 false starts, 4 false starts, 2 Lions wins. Pete, talk to me. Talk dirty to me.
I hope everybody's ready for some very exciting football today. You got an offense that's ready to throw all over the place with the Tampa Bay secondary being so hurt, and then you have a brand new Tampa Bay offensive coordinator who thinks he's playing PlayStation out there. The Lions will not shut out the Tampa Bay Bucs. There are going to be points put on this board today. Get ready for some exciting football. Lions are going to win 36-31.
Ooh, y'all calling these 30-point games.
And with 5 false starts.
Wow. Hey, let's go.
2, 4, 5. You got 36-31 win?
Yes.
Hey, I love it. I love it. If we were also betting on interceptions, and there's a 1.5 interceptions for Baker, hit the over. I think it's a 2 interception day for Baker. I have the Lions winning 27-21.
Okay.
All right, it's not 60 to
No.
15 or something?
No, they're
Okay,
still
all right.
figuring things out, and I still think Tampa is a good team.
Absolutely.
They're depleted right now. It's a good week to run into them with the offense trying to get in a rhythm against a depleted secondary. I just think the Lions, they come on top. They take care of business. And Pete and I were talking before the show. I expect them to meet up again in the playoffs.
Yes.
I think Tampa Bay will be there at the end of the season.
It could be, yeah.
Unless the secondary really just looks horrible and they don't get Winfield back for a couple weeks. But no, I had the Lions 27-21 over the Bucs, and I'll go 3 false starts today.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
Let's do it up.
What's that average out to? About
4.
3.5.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, about 3.
Yeah.
Let's
So,
see how
I
accurate
win.
we
Take the
are
over,
tomorrow,
smash the over.
because we're going to be back here tomorrow.
Yeah, we will. At 7 a.m.
7
Before we
a.m.
go, if you have any last comments, feel free to get them in. But everyone, tune in. This is just the start of our Woodward Sports Network pregame slate. At 10 to 12, down at Second Best Bar, Terry, Neil Rule and Sean Belesian. They're hosting our pregame show. Down at Second Best Bar, they had an incredible time last week. If you're in town, stop by and say hi to them or tap in on YouTube. They'll be live from 10 to 12, game at 1 during the game.
I might do that if I do go to second base. Best, I gotta get their chicken sandwich.
I would love to go to second base
that chicken
later.
sandwich is pretty
Not with any of
spot
you.
on, man.
You think you slick, brother. I caught you.
That chicken
You trying to
sandwich
go
looked good.
home. You ain't trying to go to no second base. You trying to get home. Ellie Dela Cruz over there. I see you.
Ellie Dela Cruz.
No.
I
Just
see
don't
you.
have the chicken sandwich at 2 in the morning.
That's a
Yeah,
different type of
please
chicken
don't.
sandwich.
Okay.
Chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Heavyweights, I think they're down Spenmo. Easy and a group, they're hosting the watch party
I'll be
during
there.
the game. You'll be there.
Yes, sir.
Post game, Stick and Anson. They're all out at Hayes Social. That's where all of our watch parties and post game shows are going to be. So everyone, tune in to Woodward Sports Network all day. This was Woodward in Maine. Terry, what a show. Any last comments?
Just enjoy the show.
That's right.
Enjoy the
Go
show.
Lions. I say go Lions.
Go Lions. Go Tigers. This is Woodward and Maine. Go Lions.
If they both win, man, we're gonna be on fire.
Let's
Yes,
go.
sir.
We'll
Forward
see you.
down the field.
Woodward and Maine will be back tomorrow morning.
8
7
a.m.
7.
Oh, 7 a.m. That's right.
I'm going to be doing the show alone, aren't I?
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward Sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine.
Come back.
Okay, chat. Have a great day. We'll see you in the morning.
Psych.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward Sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.